2005, it squares Uranus in 2005. So this is a big shock to his values. His values and things changed. From the dream, actually something shook things up in 2005. And then shortly after that, the Venus went out of Scorpio into Sag. There you saw the beginning of the Jupiter rulership, the need to understand, to travel, to get a better perspective on things, and perhaps to exaggerate what one wants. Okay, it's not till 2013 that, so I would work with two of these, and I probably would have, if I was just working with paper, which I had to do when I first was doing astrology, I would have a sheet beside it putting dates and writing down events and making a little calendar. Since you've got your dates, you can be going through your history and your dates on the spreadsheet, and on the side you can have a column for progressed Venus, or we can have a column for progressed Venus. You can put the dates for when things happen, so it's connected right into your history. Many ways you can use this, but in 2013 it squared his Pluto, so it's going through such. It's in his third house of learning study. But this is 2013. It squares his Pluto. There's a confrontation or harshness about not getting what I want, or being disenchanted about things, or fear about money, or fear about love, coming in 2013. Some control factor was there. Then it would move forward. So we know the meanings of planets, and we're seeing the Sag attitude coming in. There's some confrontation to the Venus. The Venus is going to go along. Let's get to the solstice point. Goes into Capricorn in 2029. That's yet to come. Then the Venus is going to be much more cautious and reserved and disciplined around money, around use of money. But then it gets down to his motivation, to his depth. In 1937, hits the deepest point in his chart. So 37, 61, 39. So that's 72. So like that could be a very mystical or deep thing, but around home, around family, it's like it's a strong point hitting the IC. But when you're seeing it, that's still a long ways away. Right now we're seeing his Venus in the third house, valuing understanding, wanting to learn, wanting to understand. We're not really wanting to work harder. This is not about the 10th house. His sign, his progression moves down below. So getting knowing, being a teacher, knowing things, writing things, he's going to want that sort of area of things. He's the person who changed countries. He changed languages. Maybe when, I'm not sure when, maybe when the Venus hit the Neptune or the Mars, but he changed language. He knows a couple languages, and just you can see his Venus is valuing through understanding and expanding his understanding and being able to express it. Third house. That's a challenge for some time till 37. So he's like, this is a puzzle. I'm not sure the solution of it. See, with the interpersonal interaction, this stuff comes all alive. We're just looking at basic structure and the points. I'm seeing this in advance. I would want to know these things more in advance. I've gone through this a couple of times before I see a person. Then we could go in and talk about it and work on it. Really, if you're seeing a regular client, you can take one session to work on the Sun, one session to work on Mercury, one session to work on Venus, and work like that through a series of sessions as an ongoing therapy thing. Okay, so now we're still, oh my goodness. Okay, we're still pushing late, but now we've got Donald Trump's chart. 3 charts more to go. Okay, Donald Trump, his Venus starts in Cancer in the 11th house. It goes straight across his whole life. It doesn't retrograde back. It just goes straight forward. It goes down through the 12th house into the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's in his life. It goes that way. In his chart, he has Venus conjunct Saturn, which is basically a controlling, conservative thing. I got to control money. There's never enough money. I got to work to get it. I got to control it. He tends to control emotions and finances. He can be a little stingy, but he's very rich, so he can't say it's poor. He just would be able to control his resources usually. It is squared by Jupiter natally, so he can over exaggerate and spend too much sometimes. So getting that sense, but he has made himself a very successful person, very well known. He's become president. But his son's up in the 10th house with Uranus. He pushes for doing whatever's independent. I can do my own thing. I'm doing it my way. Venus does rule his midheaven around money, around things. But this Venus in the 11th house, it goes, I'll just go down to the more tight and more exact one. There we go. And it went into the 12th house in 2050. It conjuncted Pluto in 58. In 72, it conjuncted Mars. And in 75, it went over the ascendant and into Virgo. So 75 was a big turning point emotionally in transits. No, and in the Sun, his progressed Sun went over the ascendant just during when he got elected. But this is happening way before that. His sense of I like money, his Venus hits his ascendant, he identifies the money, values what he wants. And it goes through Virgo. So it was, if you're in 58, he's only 12. He made strong decisions about what he wanted and what he didn't want. Like there were certain fears about not having money or controls going on that were very formative. That was just Venus hitting the Pluto. Then hit the Mars by 72. He's acting on it. And but this is still all in the 12th house. So he set things up, and there's somewhere along the line he overextended and lost money. He had to sell off some hotels and things, but he still has been building up all his life, building up his empire. So Venus went into Virgo, August 75. Okay, that's where we are. Then the next hit is it's going to square Uranus in 91. So 91, when it squared Uranus, that's in the first house. That's finance, emotional. He's got figured out and things didn't work according to plan. Maybe that's when he had to sell off his properties or stuff. I'm not sure, but there certainly was a shock around his emotion. Maybe it was a divorce. And then the Venus came in and it changed it. He's still going through his first house, my values, my identity. It's still, and being critical about things. By 95, it's square the Sun. Still going through that. So that means there's stress, there's a struggle around desire, passion, choices, and it's working through the Virgo. So he's analyzing things, but there's struggles or stress patterns going on. 2002, it goes into Libra. Now it's in its own sign that it wants to rule. So the ability to being liked, being appreciated, having a vision of things is strong. Then it goes by 2007, it's on his Neptune. Venus is on his Neptune. So this is all in the second house, so he's visualizing the vast empire of money, how far he can take this, how far he can go. 2007. 2018, it's on his Jupiter. He's president. He's making choices that are going to be very profitable for him. And he has his values, my values, Venus and Libra. I know what I want. I know what we should do. We should do this. We should change the world. We should make America great again. We should do this. But it's his Jupiter is square Saturn and square Venus. So he's thinking, I know what we should do. Make it great. We'll build a wall. I understand, Jupiter, that a wall, Saturn, if we can afford to build it, will keep the poor people out. And we can keep America great again. So like inside, there's a kind of, it's twisted, but you can see his logic about being defensive to protect what his, so other people don't erode his world, his friends, his way of doing things. That's the Venus Saturn in the 11th to start with. Now it comes down to start squaring that. And here we are, 7/18. Yeah, so it squared to Jupiter. It conjuncts to Jupiter in 2018. It squares the Saturn by 2024, and then squares the Venus by 2026. So if he gets in this next term, he'll be in for another 4 years. If not, there's still that either way. There's a slowing down of his Venus and challenges with his finances and his Venus and his self-worth over this time period. When it hits Saturn 2024, it's hard to know if he doesn't get in, he could easily be impeached, and then there could be struggles around. And I can't be making money. They could have Saturn in a very blatant way around it. If he does get in again, he's going to be much more strict and much more defensive and much more controlling around tariffs, around controlling finances, because he's seeing the state as me. I'm tight. I'm going to make rules to make more. Like that's why Gemini's, They're smart, but they don't work well in politics when they're trying to think of others. But his Venus will go on, it'll in 2024, it squares 2024, that's the square to Saturn, yeah, okay. 2030 goes into Scorpio, and it will, if he lives to 2041, it'll 2041 it will square the Pluto. But this is his Venus going down. Venus isn't, it's your choices, it's your stuff. He's doing things his way, his own way around it, but there's certainly complications coming in. The story about how famous he is, what he's doing out there, isn't there? The story of how he's making his personal choices around relationships, around other things, what he wants, his desires, that's in here somehow.